Welcome into another Unsound Logic podcast with Nico and Jeremy. And today we have another special guest, Phil.
Hi. Today the subject is talking about YouTubers who beg for money. So to be specific, I don't think this will cover like people would simply have like a means of contributing money to them, because a lot of people do that, and I think that's okay. I think we're specifically talking about the people that almost get down on their knees and asking they're basically asking their fans to support them.
So the people who buy a house and then make a YouTube career and then realize they don't understand how to run a business?
Yeah. My main problem is people who put all of their eggs in the same basket and basically stake their entire life on YouTube, which is pretty much the most unsafe thing you could do.
From my perspective, this is how it looks. First of all, you have something, YouTube, that from its beginning, I don't think when it was initially conceived, of course things may have changed over the years, but when it was first conceived, I don't think anyone really had the idea that it was going to become like the next big thing for where to find like a podcast series or, anything more than 30-minute videos or 30-second videos of cats pooping or something like that.
Yeah, you remember the first rendition of YouTube? It was fucking 144p and it was garbage.
Yeah. It was absolutely terrible. But I don't think anyone ever had the idea that it was going to become anything like that. And as a result, YouTube never charged anyone for anything. They didn't require you to pay anything other than just having a membership, and then you upload whatever you want. And if you got views, that was your payment. That was if you became popular and you wound up at the top of the list where YouTube was promoting you and pushing your content, that was your reward. And I have no issue with YouTubers who make money off their videos. I personally do not find that to be a very sound career move, just because of the fickle nature of something like YouTube. That's the issue, is you're putting your life in the hands of a company that changes their content policies and everything else in the blink of an eye. You're putting yourself at their mercy. And we've noticed it even in Snupster. There's so many of videos of like Nico's and Altima's, and I don't know of anybody else's, but where videos that were being monetized can't be monetized because they no longer fit with the terms of use for YouTube.
Yep. The thing about YouTube is that it's not your employer.
Yeah,
it's a service. And if you decide to stake your career on YouTube, you're basically self-employed and you choose to use YouTube as the way to make money.
Well, you could technically think about YouTube as your boss. They get to decide the rules. You don't have anything to say about that.
There's not even that, because in a real job, excuse the expression, in a quote-unquote real job, your boss is bound by law to pay you, and he can't really fire you for no reason out of the blue in most cases.
That is true.
YouTube is not even the boss of YouTubers. It's simply a service that you use, and in my opinion, unless you make the real big bucks, you should not. You should always have a backup plan. And it should not be your main source of income.
Yeah, and even if you try YouTube for a living, you should probably have at least 1 year's worth of savings before you even try. Unless you want to bitch online for money.
I've never gone to actually look at how much the top YouTubers make, or, any type of chart that compares, the top 20 YouTubers, the top 30 or top 50 or whatever.
They make so much they don't have to care.
But I cannot imagine that there are more than a handful of people who fall into that criteria. that actually, literally, legitimately do not have to worry about that.
Yeah, when you make that step and try to live with YouTube money as your main job, you're taking a ridiculous risk to begin with.
Yeah.
When I don't know about you guys, but when I was in high school, we had these courses that were, helping us make a career choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about certain fields that are saturated, that if you decide to go that way, you must be aware that it's going to be hard to find something, because everyone else is also trying to get in there. Like the media, for example. Everyone wants to be on TV. Everyone wants to play video games and make money off of it, right?
Yeah.
YouTube is like the ultimate the ultimate example of that. Like, who doesn't want to play video games and make money? So it's gonna be the most difficult thing to, like, it's gonna be very rare for someone to make enough money. Like, those that are at the top, of course, they're comfortable, but it's a very small percentage of all the people that try to make it. What I mean is that I learned that in high school.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
when I was in high school, YouTube didn't exist yet, but we still had a career orientation class where we were basically taught to think about things like, how secure is this job going to be, and what is the long-term potential here. And I don't think a lot of people consider that. I suppose you could take the opposite approach and say at least these people are following their dreams and they're living the dream, and
it's a very idealistic view of things.
Yeah, but that's not the problem. It's the problem is them and how they deal with it.
The problem is not that they do it. The problem is what happens when things have now shifted and they can no longer make the money that they were making.
And they refuse to do something else. They want to keep going, and then what they happen to do, well, not everyone, again, I don't want to generalize, but they want to, how can I say that, they want to involve their audience in making them survive.
Yeah, involve.
That's putting it very nicely. I mean, like I said, I have no problem with YouTubers who make money off their channels and who arrange it so that their fans can donate money, through Patreon or whatever. My issue comes when they start trying to guilt people into donating money and making people feel miserable for not doing it or feel like they're part of the problem.
That you're not a real fan, or you're not my friend if you don't contribute money. And keep in mind, like, children watch these guys.
Yeah, they're gullible as fuck.
Yeah. So
they're gullible, and they don't fully understand the scope of what's going on.
I still think that parents who don't supervise their kids on the internet kind of deserve it. I don't know. I'm probably alone in this mindset.
I kind of agree.
If your kid puts $200 on some guy because he says, I have a house and I can't pay for it, and you watch my videos, it's kind of the parents' fault as well.
Like, or for example, let's say you have a gamer girl that is good looking, and you have this horny teenager that, he likes her. He kind of thinks he's her friend, but he really isn't.
Yeah.
But then he gets manipulated into, contributing because he thinks it's going to get him closer to her. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that's how teenagers...
No, it doesn't...
all the time. All the time.
I was a dumb kid once, I understand.
And I was a dumb kid too, but the internet didn't exist when I was a kid.
Yeah,
so.
that's so great.
There was a point where connecting to the internet was not mandatory. And you had this thought of, I'm going to try to not depend on the internet too much. I'm going to try and, just go on the internet sometimes. Nowadays, it's like everywhere. You can't live without it.
Can't avoid it.
I'm interested in this DSP situation.
Yeah, it's there's the reason why I kind of follow what's happening with this guy is just that I'm kind of fascinated by how he can get away with things and how someone basically can manipulate his fan base into supporting him for this long.
He's not even that good in
while doing everything possibly wrong that you can do on YouTube.
That video was sickening.
Sickening. It's recent. Like every time you think that he touched the bottom of the barrel, he finds some way to just crash through it and reach further down the depths of the earth.
So do you want to give the how should I say introduction to this guy? Who is he? What does he do? And
I'm talking
who's his daddy?
I'm talking about DSP Gaming. That's the name of his channel on YouTube. So he started, I know the goddamn history because he keeps bringing it up. He lives in the past. Like he's still like a big thing. Basically, he lost his job. Like he was laid off his job in the early 2000s. And he started to do video, like let's play videos, and it was like a camcorder pointing at this at his screen. And at some point, he like when he lost his job, because so far it was a hobby, which I think is what it should be. But when he lost his job, he asked his fans to support him because he didn't have a job, and that kind of took him a little bit. Like he was becoming popular because there was less people doing that kind of thing, and he likes to think that he is like one of the originators of the Let's Play model, which is what the hell does this mean anyway?
Yeah.
And basically he got semi-popular and made decent money because it was based on views back then. And the further it progressed, I won't get into the entire history, but he decided at some point he got a girlfriend. He decided to move from Connecticut to Washington State, like to Seattle. And he, like, that's where he kind of like started talking about how he needed money for the move. Like he basically tells his fans everything. Mm-hmm. And when I mean everything is kind of shady, because that's what happens when you ask your fans for money. Because when you involve your fans in this whole monetary thing, and you say that you don't have enough money, and then suddenly you show this vlog of you going to a hotel in a vacation, people are gonna ask you like, are you really in trouble? Do you really need money? Because you do all these expenses that don't make sense for someone who needs money.
Oh, that reminds me.
Stuff like that.
That reminds me. There was a guy who asked for $4,000 a month in donations in, I think, Patreon, so he could live in a constant state of vacation. But he received a big fucking backlash from his subscribers, so he lowered the amount to a mere $2,000 instead.
That's what happens when you involve people in your business. They kind of see it as an investment. So if they don't see that their money is put to good use, they're gonna be pissed off because and then it becomes it becomes necessary for you to tell like everything. Like, do you really make that little money? Are you really in need of money? And just to finish the story, basically he moved to Seattle, like across the country, and into this big house, but he didn't sell his condo back in Connecticut. So now he has two mortgages. He pays two mortgages, and basically how all of his friends he had back there kind of left him because like it was revealed that he was really not sharing like income with them and everything, and it's just a fucking mess. And now, like lately, he lost his girlfriend, so now he's alone in this big house with 2 mortgages and a channel that's dying. And now he's like begging almost every day on Twitch, and almost every month, he makes an emergency vlog telling people that he needs money on Patreon to get through the month, and it's just the
IRS are also investigating
train
him now too, evidently, or at least he says they are.
I don't know, but that's basically it. And just people who do that, like who shamelessly ask other people to help them when they're not really in the, like when all this trouble is like self-made. It's all his fault.
Of course. I was watching his videos, and he puts everything out as it's not his problem, but the audience's problem. He has this blaming tone in his voice.
He always blames his haters or something else. It's always someone else's fault. And he always says that he did nothing wrong, and that pisses me off so much. that pisses me off so much.
What made me funny was listening to his plea for help, and he was talking about all the problems he was encountering with like the IRS, talking about all the receipts he never saved and this, that, and the other. And he's like, no one ever tells you about any of this. No one ever teaches you any of this. And I'm thinking to myself, do you ever think maybe you shouldn't be doing something unless you reasonably expect that there might be something? You cannot tell me that he has gone through his entire life in the United States and never heard of anyone who didn't keep receipts for business expenses or anything like that.
Yeah, the guy you're talking about is not actually DSP Gaming, I think.
Oops, I'm sorry.
It's
totally changed people.
It's because DSP Gaming, like right now, DSP Gaming, people speculates that it's the same deal, that the IRS is going after him, but it's not confirmed yet, because what he did in his stupid vlog is that he tells people that some big event that's kind of putting his house at risk is maybe happening or maybe not happening, but he can't tell us. But still, he's asking for help.
Yeah, you can guess at that point.
Yeah, and now everyone tries to guess, and of course a lot of trolls are gonna go after him. But the thing is that the one you're referring, Candy Bars, is Onision.
Yeah.
I think he's even bigger than, I think it's a bigger quote unquote YouTube celebrity, that guy. But I only found out about him like recently with this whole catastrophe of
before that thing I'd never heard of him before in my life. Yeah,
but the thing that, you know, in this guy's case is that basically the IRS is after him, and he's making all these sad videos where like he takes all the color away from the image so that it looks even more like sad, and he's kind of faking crying and stuff. It's pathetic.
It was really pathetic.
But anyway, it's the same deal. It's the same kind of.
Yeah, just because you have a microphone and a YouTube channel, I don't think that puts you ahead of anyone else. You literally just put on fucking pants to do.
Yeah. And in some cases, maybe not even that.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm not saying that it's not work to do YouTube. Because I know that editing is a lot of work, but in the DSP's case, he's not even editing. So all that I'm doing such work talk is bullshit. But, you know, I understand that it's a lot of work to, you know, chase that popularity and those subscribers, but still, it shouldn't become your audience's problem.
It does take a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Operating a YouTube, I mean, I try to think about all the work that Nico does getting our videos ready and the amount of sleep he loses over it, and I couldn't do it. And is reflected in the videos on my channel. They're very, very low production quality. But and a lot of it is just attitude, because guys like these two, Onision and,
Dark Side Phil.
When you go so far as to guilt somebody into spending their money on you just because you made a poor mistake, that's unacceptable. I mean, there are a lot of it. I noticed it more in the Twitch streamers than anywhere else, maybe because I just don't watch that much YouTube anymore, at least not channels with, a subscription level or whatever. But like, there are Twitch channels like the Goober or Warwitch or Crystal Rain. Those guys, they're always so thankful and friendly to their fans. And even the ones who just joined, who aren't even subscribed, who aren't donating anything or whatever, they always make them feel so very welcome.
Yeah, I've seen that. I don't watch a lot of the Twitch streamers, but I've heard a lot about those that are really interacting with their fan base. And
yeah. I tell my subscribers to fuck off.
That's how you gain subscribers.
That's right.
No, but
they stay for Nico's bad boy attitude.
In DSP's case, is he has so many haters that every time someone tries to interact with him, he's paranoid and he kind of insults them, or he doesn't really interact that much. He will only interact if someone gives him money. And he keeps saying that he doesn't do it for money, and he's not like, he's basically contradicting himself. I mean, if you look for that guy on YouTube, you're gonna find a gold mine of crap like this. But
so he made a YouTube channel, bought a house, took a loan, and then says, "I don't do YouTube for money."
Like, he's not. He's having fun doing this, and probably at the time of this recording, right now, he's probably playing Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite and bitching because he's getting his ass kicked and he doesn't like the game, but he still plays it because people like to see him rage. And that's the thing. He's a former pro fighting game player, quote unquote pro. Like, he went fourth place in one tournament, and
he played in the league.
And he uses that as a fucking a badge of honor. I noticed with this kind of YouTuber is that usually they will create, like, in their fan base, they will create some kind of cult mentality, like it's us versus them, right?
Right.
So the fans will almost support the guy just out of principle of, we're against the haters, we're still gonna support you even if you do like stupid shit. I don't know if you understand what I mean. It's it becomes like if you are simply a normal fan and you just like want to criticize someone like that, then you're labeled a hater. Even if you're still a real fan and you're just saying like this one thing they did might not make sense or whatever, then you're almost afraid of criticizing them because it's like you're gonna get a whole bunch of people after you because
they're all turn on you instead.
Yeah. Eternal.
Might need to drink some water or something for that.
That's a good idea.
Clear your throat. I hate to do this just because it's so typical of my generation to say something like this, but I see this as a very millennial attitude. But it's these guys, anytime you hear them talk, you can pretty much hear, you could just about scrape the sense of entitlement off the screen.
Oh, yeah.
so bad. And
it's because they think they know what they are doing, but they don't know.
Yeah.
It's like when the whole Nintendo revenue and like Atlas and Persona 5 who blocks you from sharing gameplay of Persona.
Mm-hmm. These
guys, and I'm gonna talk a little bit. Because Angry Joe did something like this. It's that attitude of he's gonna talk about the whole Nintendo problem, and okay, let's be honest. Nintendo will take down your videos, or I don't know, they prevent you from monetizing them, right?
Yeah, they take your money.
But these guys are gonna make it seem like Nintendo is stopping them from playing their games, which is not the case. They're gonna talk about how Nintendo is anti-consumer and stuff, but that's not the case. You can still play your game as much as you want. It's just if you're trying to make money off of it, that's the issue.
In my case, I was frustrated because they copyright claimed a let's play of my Zelda run, and it's like, but I'm playing your game. Why do you want to make money out of my video that gets 100 views?
Oh yeah, I agree that, you know, that attitude from the company is kind of bullshit. But I don't like the idea of, you know, the YouTuber, in this case, using his fan base to kind of distort the reality into to make them seem more evil.
They are evil, though.
But you know, it's not. They're not like the thing that frustrates me about this is that I want to see YouTubers play games and make content because they like it, because they love doing it, because they love playing the games. They're playing the games for fun. I don't like that it's all about the money, and if you're not helping me make money, then I won't play your game. But it's just like, just play the game.
Well, it's because they made YouTube their job, and now they want everyone to play with the rules.
Yeah, like back then when there was no internet, were you thinking of this when you were playing a game? Like, you were playing a game because it's fun.
But once it becomes your job, you have to think about that.
It's just that they twist this, they twist it into something that makes it out like the company is preventing you from enjoying your game, which is not the case.
No, it's preventing you from getting that money and keeping that house you bought just before your career on YouTube.
It's preventing you from profiting off of their profit, I guess. That's a thing.
The dog agrees. What do you think about YouTube?
But I noticed there are other people who are jumping ship. There's a political commentator. Her name's Margaret. I forget what the name of her channel is. I think it's Yes Margaret or Margaret's Belly. I don't know, but she's a Canadian conservative video gamer / political commentator, and she yanked her entire channel because YouTube changed their policy, and she went to, I don't know if it was Patreon or somebody else, but
probably Patreon.
Yeah.
If she's not asking for money, she's doing it right.
No, she doesn't ask for any. I've never seen her ask for anything. But,
there we go.
But she still all of her videos are monetized, and YouTube flagged every last one of her videos for inappropriate content, when I think language is probably the worst thing in any of them. And yeah, she didn't. Now, she raised hell with YouTube about it. She made a final video telling YouTube to basically go screw themselves, but at no point in time did she blame her fans or anything else.
You can't blame YouTube either.
Well, no, you really can't. I mean, she was mad because they had done things one way for so long and then just up and changed things all of a sudden.
But it's their call to make.
It is.
Yeah, and it's like if you were did YouTube take down the videos, or they're just stopping monetization?
They stopped monetization on all of them, so she yanked every last video.
So that's the thing. It's not YouTube didn't take down the videos and stopped her from talking.
Oh, no, she never said that that YouTube was stopping her. Just that they had changed their policies, so she was going to go somewhere else.
You see, there's like a confusion there. There's a gray area, like where people might suddenly think that, oh my God, YouTube's censoring people, but that's not what they're doing. And
you don't think that's censoring, though? I mean, they're trying to influence content. I would call that censoring.
No, but it's kind of the idea of having advertisement on something. It's like on TV. The advertisers won't want to have their ads on things that don't look good for them,
Any HBO show.
And I think that, being able to have ads on absolutely everything is was kind of a luxury, if you ask me so far. it was kind of like living the good life for now. And now they're kind of realizing that, we don't want to be associated with certain things. And it's just like TV, somewhat. Yeah, I'm not saying it's not frustrating for the people involved, but it's a service. It's not your employer.
I think the advertisers should be able to select the videos that their ads go into. You
didn't sign a contract with YouTube.
That's true. You didn't sign any type of contract. You didn't sign any type of tax form for income taxes or anything like that.
You're just using the platform.
Yeah, and the reason you're not making money out of it is because you thought you'd. You didn't prepare. You didn't plan. You had no exit strategy. You had no money aside. You just didn't understand.
What's the name of he's a really popular YouTuber. He does a lot of just commentary videos. He was a heavier set guy. I can't remember his name. But I saw a video of his not too long ago where since things were starting to change and YouTube had changed their policies on monetization and stuff like that, he mentioned that he and his wife were both going to have to get real jobs. And he's just like, that's just the way it is. He openly admitted, he's like, it was a gamble. And we knew at any point in time this could stop, and it stopped. So now we have to get real jobs.
Yeah, YouTube is one of the hardest algorithms to please in the world. And they're not. You're taking a risk to begin with.
It's not a reliable source of income.
No,
it's like someone is changing their mind every month on how you should do your job. You're literally being pulled by strings.
Yeah, and they like to pretend like they got fired, quote unquote, by YouTube, which is not the case. You were not fired.
How it works.
Yeah, there's always lots of righteous indignation when something like that happens.
The thing is that DSP Gaming lost is like it was partnered with Machinima, which is like a channel network.
I know who they are.
And when the adpocalypse started happening a few months ago, he was like freaking out and making all these drama videos every month, and he was like starting to like almost harass them, like call them every day about like, have you found out what's going on with these drops in income and stuff? And eventually they dropped him.
I remember. Yeah, I heard about that.
And you have to dance around the algorithms to understand how they work, and that's how you run a successful business. You study how the shit works, and if you don't, I don't think you are in a position to blame anyone for that. You'll get the amount of money you deserve.
More than anything else, it's a gamble, really. I mean,
it's a fucking gamble.
It's like a Kickstarter. Like people invest in Kickstarter like it's an investment, but it's not. It's not an investment. It's a gamble. You won't see that money again. What did you say?
You really need to drink more water, Nick.
I said mighty number 9.
Oh man. It's a game that was played.
So yeah, the moment you give money to a Kickstarter project, and money is gone. You might not even see the game or whatever you're investing.
And that's happening more and more. There are a lot of people who are pulling out of projects and just disappearing into thin air. And
that should be your mindset when you are setting up your YouTube channel for business. You might not ever see any money.
Yeah, I know. I never set my YouTube channel. I mean, I think it's monetized. I think I got it set to where ads play before my videos, but I'll never see a dime off of mine.
Well, I just got paid for my Nico Evaluates just 2 days ago. Yeah, it's my audience's problem. I'm not making more. I just got that new cat bed. I can't afford it now.
And back to the cardboard box.
When someone like that complains about all these quote unquote problems, and you think that there's so many people with much worse problems.
Yeah, when you're releasing like monthly videos of you begging for money, you're probably doing something wrong.
Oh, of course.
And what's more, you're wasting a ton of energy that you could be putting towards something else, like finding another job.
Or actually making your business succeed, even if it's in YouTube or not.
But think about it. When you've been like doing Let's Play videos for like, I don't know, 8 years, how does that look on your resume?
I don't know.
I guess it would probably depend on the company, but I mean, unless it was a video game related company, I would say pretty much 98% of the free world could care less.
The older generations are not going to understand that. It's going to be, so you sat at home for 8 hours playing games. We'll contact you later.
And you failed. I don't care if the guy played in a professional league. I don't care if he played StarCraft and whooped every South Korean's ass he came across.
That's impossible.
If I were a business owner and I was hiring someone and it was between him and somebody else and that was the only difference, I'd go with the other guy just because I know that person got out and did something with their lives besides play video games.
There's another thing about DSP Gaming. He got caught masturbating on stream.
I saw that.
What?
That's another thing that
he was nudging back and forth with his stream accidentally open.
Yeah. That's another thing that doesn't really look good on a resume.
Well, I don't think he's gonna put that there.
Yeah, but
so why did he charge for that? That's what he should have been charging for.
Did he monetize that?
But as soon as you're gonna have an employer that looks on the internet for whatever you've been doing,
I would.
Literally,
I would fucking do that.
Wood. The guy would come in for his second round of interviews, and Nico would be like, "What's this? What the hell is this?"
I slammed the paper on the desk.
Just to put him on the spot, like just to fuck with him.
So how did this go, according to your side of the story?
Yes, there was a bee. I was trying to get rid of a bee.
I'll take this out.
Should just do like a montage video of all the times Nico says, "I'll take this out."
But do you think the people who are begging for money in Patreon and YouTube, do you think they are skilled in manipulation, or what's the deal?
Some of them are pretty crafty.
Yeah,
but I think it's all about their audience more than anything, because some of these guys like Unsound or DSP, DSP especially, I think, didn't you say he caters mostly largely to children and preteens, things like that, or young teens?
Well, his audience is just kids.
Yeah, his commentary is like fart humor and crap like that. It's horrible.
They're probably going to be far more likely to fall for a cheap ploy than, say, someone our age.
You could say that he got lucky in the first place, that people for some reason gathered to watch him. He got lucky in the first place. It's not like he was running a successful system to begin with.
Yeah.
He just got extremely lucky, and now he thinks he's the fucking man. But suddenly realizing that maybe he's done wrong decisions.
It's stuff like that kind of makes me wish YouTube would keep changing their policies, just because I like to see people like that whine and cry.
And don't you love seeing a video like talking about ads and YouTube revenue in your sub box? Like,
that's what I like. When I come back from home after a hard day of work, I'm just gonna sit down, open my YouTube in my browser, and check for the latest ad revenue bullshit video, and with a cup of coffee.
Watch someone complain about, I just sat home and played video games, and that's hard work, and I'm not getting paid enough. Like, you don't know how much I get paid.
I don't care about production value. I have zero sympathy for these people. You want my support. You got my subscribe, and you got me occasionally commenting on your videos. And if I really, really like you and you have a Patreon, I might donate a little money now and then.
I don't feel bad for kids who spend money on these beggars, because that's not usually their money. That's their parents' money, and that means they weren't raised correctly or supervised. But I do despise the people who beg for money, so I can understand that side. It's that these YouTube scums are also teaching children ill ways about life, because kids will pretty much believe what the adults tell them.
They think it's okay to do this.
YouTube as a parenting tool.
Does it? Are you making a joke here?
Yes.
But
that's a funny one.
But talk is like, speaking about ads and stuff like that. we don't have cable anymore at home, and we don't watch TV. And
man, I haven't watched TV in like 8 years.
My daughter watches a lot of cartoon stuff on YouTube, and we skip all the ads, of course. Mm-hmm. And we went to New York recently, and we were in a hotel room, and there was the Monsters University movie playing on the TV. And she loves the Monsters Inc. franchise. And every time there was a commercial, she was like, I want to watch Monsters Inc. Like, it was so unnatural for her to have like stuff that doesn't make sense suddenly in the middle of the movie. It was like, why are these people talking about all kinds of stuff that I don't care about?
How the times have changed.
Why did they cut the movie like that? Like, she wanted to go back to the movie, and we were telling her like, we have to wait a little bit, and she was like sad. And every time there was a commercial break, that happened, because she's not used to that. We have never watched TV with her, basically.
And if you run like ad block in your home, then you're never gonna see an ad.
Yeah.
I run ad block, and I'm not afraid to admit it.
That's
you
the life.
Unblock that ad block when you watch my channel, or I'm gonna get your ass there.
Or you're not my friend.
You'll have to sell your house.
My house is on this. My cat bed is on this.
That's another thing. You have like these same YouTubers do those things, those videos to try to convince their audience to not use ad block. Like, really, you're really gonna like.
I do that.
No. There was I saw a female gamer doing that. I forget who it was, but yeah, she was like super angry and indignant about the whole thing.
You know how I did it? At the end of each of my videos, there's a sentence that says, if you're using AdBlock and you want to support me, you can go to Patreon.
There you go. That's doing it right.
At the end of every video, when someone starts to tell you like all the,
subscribe and comment and like.
Yeah, subscribe, like, comment, follow me on Twitter, like, go through the entire formalities, like, and then it takes forever, and you're like, I just stopped the video because what's the point? Like, I already look at your stuff, so it's just wasting time.
This isn't like 10 years ago when YouTube was not quite as mainstream as it is now. Everybody knows how to handle that now. That's common convention.
So what do you think about the thing where I go, if you agreed, leave a like. If you disagreed, leave a dislike.
That's because you're just encouraging interaction.
Yeah. The point is I'm trying to make is that it shouldn't take too much time to
go check me on Facebook, where I constantly post stuff, and then in Twitter I post stuff that's not as long, but you might care about that as well. You might as well go to Patreon and donate if you want, and you can watch me on YouTube. Well, you are already on YouTube, you're probably watching me right now. You can also go to Discord and talk with us. I take photos in Instagram, and I take photos of my food that I eat. And I update about my stuff on various websites. I have my own website at www.
It's like if the audience like what you do, they'll find the links. They'll find you. Yeah, exactly.
There's an option in YouTube to have a description set up for you, and you can always have the services down there.
Yeah.
If they want to follow you on shit, they'll click the description link and click the links. It's not that hard.
Another thing that really grinds my balls.
Grinds my balls.
It's when a YouTuber will spend a long time in the intro of a video talking about what happened recently, and just get to the point. If I watch this video in 2 years, I'm not gonna care about what just happened to you before you made this video. Like, I don't know, you had audio problems. Whatever. I don't care.
That happens on like tutorial videos all the fucking time. Yes. You're gonna go check like how to
Like, I'm sorry, this video is has been long overdue. I've been having like audio problems with I needed to buy a new microphone,
and I should then to do.
and then blah blah blah. It's like talking about his life, and I just like just get to the point. I don't care about that.
Yeah, it's 9 minutes of that, and then at the end, it's 1 minute for you click this button in Sunny Vegas and you're done. I usually like browse down. When I check a video like that, there's like, I shat my pants today. There's gonna be a tutorial on this video, so just keep watching. Then I browse down the comments, and there's a comment: tutorial starts at blah blah blah, or it says like, this is what they told me. Just click this button.
Oh man, it's just a decent like respect for your audience, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's not like Snapster. Let's make a bullshit intro every time for 15 minutes.
Yeah, but that's part of the video, though.
It's kind of setting
happened
the mood,
by
right?
accident. We started doing that at the very beginning. We just stuck to it.
That's just how we warm up to things. And we usually have some pretty humorous commentary going on. So
yeah,
we don't spend 9 minutes telling people about our audio issues, even though we
that's
have
the thing.
audio issues all the time.
That's the thing. They're like irrelevant things.
Yeah.
If you knew how much problems people had with each of their videos, it's gonna be a humongous amount. Every video on YouTube has like probably had a couple of problems at least. Who cares?
Well, I'm not really the type to watch vlogs anyway, because that's what vlogs are. Like some people like it talking about like just sharing what they do.
What's the deal with vlogs? I don't understand. Why would I watch somebody else's life when I've got my own fucking problems?
Because their problems are not your problems, and you don't have to worry about their problems.
I don't understand. Teach me.
Finish. There's no teaching.
So you watch vlogs?
No, well, no. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
That's fine.
I don't understand that as well. I don't get what's so what's so nice. Like and because I watched a lot of DSP's bullshit, I've seen some of these vlogs, and it's just like showing everyone the hotel room when they went on vacation. And when I say vacation, it's in quotes, because it's basically a staycation, they call it.
Yeah, they went to a hotel in the same town or something.
Yeah, and they just they went to a hotel in the same town, bringing like DVDs and movies, and just basically what they do exactly at home, but in a hotel.
Hold on, you go to a hotel on the same town,
and
for fun.
Yeah.
And you film the whole thing, show it to the people you're asking money, and then complain that you don't have enough money.
My wife and I do it a few times a year.
What?
Because the beds are like way bigger and more comfy. And
I see.
And,
and you can just, you don't have to clean up.
Exactly.
But still.
We order lots of takeout, make a huge mess, and, leave the next morning and don't have to clean any of it up.
And you share it with everyone on YouTube just to show everyone how rich you are, or I don't know.
I think there's a pro tip here. I don't think you should get a house when you start your business on YouTube, and I don't think you should get a house slightly after either.
Yeah, I would definitely wait a while.
If you don't have another job.
A lot of these people don't. That's why they beg for money. And who knows what these people actually do in real life. They could just be making all of this shit up. I don't have money. He could be a fucking millionaire. Who knows?
Yeah, that's why I'm saying when you get down this path, you have to share everything. Because when money is involved, people want to make sure that they're not giving you money for no reason.
We should go back to squirrel skins. You don't know the era of squirrel skins? You skin a squirrel. That's I don't know what they used it for, and then you bought stuff with it.
That's 3 squirrel skins.
Yeah. It's how
it's the medieval times. You wouldn't know about that, can you?
It's how people here, were doing commerce back then.
You never skinned a squirrel.
I've skinned several squirrels, actually.
You never sold them?
No.
It's because we are in 2017 here.
There's no market for it.
But my point is that you can make money out of everything. Anyway. Oh, there was a rumor, by the way, about DSP's house. How he's about to lose it.
He hasn't told anyone what's gonna supposedly maybe happen to make him lose his house. I think he's just like panicking like usual, and then people give money, and then he says like, "Oh, by the way, everything's fine." I'll believe it when I'll see it. What do you think about people disabling their comments? Because the video that where DSP is talking about like maybe losing his house and stuff, I basically disabled all of his comments on his main channel, and the video asking for help with the house and everything has comments disabled.
I wonder why.
He's looking for sympathy and moral support.
And then disables comments.
Yeah, and that's another thing. He's like pretending like he has depression, and that pisses me off so much because he doesn't have real depression, doesn't know what real depression is.
Yeah, that's a serious thing to play off of.
Like people that pretend like they are suffering from depression when they clearly aren't. When you are depressed, you can barely get up from bed.
I could tell you about that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing, like pretending like their problems are bigger than they are.
Yeah, do you sleep 1 to 2 hours a night? And then you just lay in bed all day without actually feeling tired or awake?
I don't suffer from depression, but I know someone who has.
Or I have. I wouldn't say it's been an all the time thing, but I've suffered from it.
But yeah, it's, trying to use every possible way to garner sympathy. And one of them is that. And
would a person like this go like,
my back is hurting,
be like, send me money?
That's another thing DSP does.
Oh my god, I was just making a joke.
Yeah, he has this back problem that he can't lift anything heavy, and
oh no, I gotta send him a few bucks.
Oh, and you can think of something stupid or bad. He probably did it.
I see. I don't understand.
And I don't understand how people can give money to someone like that. It blows my mind. That's kind of why I'm so fascinated by it.
Patreon, DSP Gaming.
It's
Dark Side Phil is creating daily gaming videos and live streams. $851 a month. You can't even live with that.
Diving into the Dark Side Phil rabbit hole, it goes deep.
Yeah, we don't have enough. We don't have enough time in the world for this.
I've watched a couple people on Patreon, mainly illustrators. They have monthly goals and they have illustrations they make every month, and patrons will get exclusive access to these illustrations, like high-res images, and like they're really working for their patrons. But then you've got people who make Let's Play videos who basically have like one goal, and the money just goes to pay their bills. Mm-hmm. or they have one goal, which is like, I'm going to play this game, or you're going to be able to choose the game I play, or whatever the hell it is. It's not, it doesn't seem like it's like really, but it depends on who, I guess, but is it real something? It's not a real product that you deliver to someone. But
so do you think you feel that these people don't deserve any of the money they are getting, and some other people should be better off?
I don't think they deserve any of it.
It depends on who, it depends on their attitude. I mean, when the Patreon stuff is just like it's an option, and you don't rely completely on it, or specifically ask audience to do it.
Like, I don't care that much how you make your money if you do it via legal ways, but it kind of pisses me off that somehow these people are getting the money.
It might be legal what they're doing, but it's not ethical.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Which Snupsters talking about anything ethical is kind of an irony, but it's, there's a line, and these guys just like Olympic long jump across this line into the territory where you just shouldn't go.
We're also like, I would call that we're making a show. We're not just releasing shit for the fuck of it.
Yeah.
We're actually thinking about it.
The amount of videos that DSP uploads, basically presses record and stop, and he has over like 40,000 videos on his main channel.
I don't have an issue with that so much. Some people are actually, they can do good videos with just by pressing record and stop, like Northern Lion. It's extremely fun to watch. But he knows what he's doing. He's studied the fucking algorithms. And he's being a nice guy. So there's a huge difference between Let's Players as well. For someone just pressing record and stop can be a completely different thing than somebody else pressing record and stop. It's like comedy clubs and such. Somebody is just not going to be as good as the other.
Right.
It really depends on the attitude. For example, for us, like when we have a patron who gives us money to like play a certain game, I think we involve those people enough in the process, and we interact enough with them to make it rewarding.
Yeah, when people pledge to the tier, I usually talk with them for like half an hour. I've asked them who they want that are in the episode, and do they have any special rules or something. So I just really spend time with them. So because they're paying for it, of course I'm gonna sit down and talk to them. I'm not just gonna take the money and run.
I hate to bring up DSP again, but he does those polls to make people nominate games for a playthrough. And then he basically just chooses whatever the hell he wants. Or he...
my god, that reminds me. Didn't he, he held a poll, and then the game that he didn't want to play won the poll, and he was like, what the fuck are you doing? Why did you vote for this? Now I have to play this goddamn game, and I don't want to.
Because there's a lot of trolls who... Because he has so many haters that...
Why did he put that in the poll? If he doesn't want to play it.
But sometimes I think that some people can add, they can add things to the polls or something. I don't know.
Oh my god. So whose fault is that? The audience's.
But then who is a troll and who isn't? You don't really know. Maybe the fans really want you to play that game. And then he acts like an asshole towards them, and it's just...
But I think that one was his own submission. I'm not completely sure, but
maybe that's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you put that in if you don't want to play it? And then you blame your audience for voting the wrong thing. Well, you fucking put that there. That's
what a miserable life.
Yeah, that's you've really failed at what you're trying to do if you're trying to play a game for an audience, but instead you get fucked in the ass.
Or that's the thing, if it's your job to play video games, it kind of takes the fun out of video games, in my opinion. I wouldn't be able to do it.
Absolutely. There's no way.
It would take all of the fun out of it.
It's when you turn your hobby to work, it's gonna suffer, no matter how good of an idea it feels at first.
Like when you are a tester in the games industry, at least you when you get back home, you can play whatever whatever game you want. But when you're at work, you play the same game for months.
Unlimited.
You brought that on yourself.
I don't think I asked.
Well, recently I did ask.
Okay. Testing a game is not fun.
But if you if you didn't want to, you should have told me.
He wanted to test your game. He just wasn't so sure he wanted to test everything else that came along with it.
Yeah, there's a difference between testing a game and liking the game and testing the game and not liking the game.
Yeah, let's like in the games industry, you could be testing, I don't know, Barbie's
Bubsy 3D.
Adventure. Like some game you don't care about, and that's the thing. You're gonna play the game while it's still in the early stages, so it's gonna suck.
Well, the thing about that is that every game now is in an early state, never gonna be finished.
Yeah. But you know, you're playing through a level that doesn't have graphics yet.
Yeah, just squares going around in
like
square land.
Gray boxes. And so there's a few people like DSP that, you know, only rely on new games for their views. Like they play the games as soon as they come out so that they can get the views of the people who are curious about the game.
Yeah.
And basically they rely more on the game as a novelty than...
Well, I could say that that's actually smart, but depends how you do that.
Yeah, I've seen some people that do it, you know, in a good way. Problem is that what happens when there's no games?
Yeah.
You have nothing.
Or the games that come out, you don't like them.
Well, your whole business is based on the upcoming games and YouTube in general. So if something goes wrong, you have nothing. And
that's even worse. That's an even worse business decision than just basing your career off of YouTube alone anyway.
That's even a worse business decision than not doing anything at all. You're just could live on unemployment money and be happy. You're not going to lose anything. Got nothing to lose.
So what did we learn from this? We've learned that it really comes down to how you treat your user base. If you are going to try to take your user base for a ride and beg for money when you were the one that stuck your neck out and tried to build a career off of something that was never intended to be a career, you can't get mad at people when they don't want to donate money. And you have no one but yourself to blame for falling into the trap that you've fallen into.
The best option to me is to use YouTube for fun, make things for fun, and you should have a normal job on the side. Because unless you are
unless you are Northern Lion, then it doesn't matter. If you didn't prepare, if you didn't plan, don't blame the audience.
Yeah, and the videos are more fun to watch anyway if you make them for fun.
If your goal is to make good content, it'll show, and you don't have to bitch about your
and do you seriously see you still doing this when you're close to retirement? You should ask yourself this question.
We hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. We want to thank Phil for hanging out with us this evening and adding his insights to this.
Yes, thank you
for having me.